All right, so today I spent the day at home thinking about ways of making more money, of getting a different job, of updating my resume. It's actually what I made my video about earlier, but I spent most of the day dicking around. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't feeling well from this morning, but I wasted my day trying to relax, trying not to think about my current job, even though I must have gotten 100 messages even while I was offline today. And a lot of them came from my supervisor, who's told me that there is a mass exodus from one of the offices in another state. He's already processed 20 terminations for one office today. That's a bunch of people who are getting the middle finger for Labor Day. Can you imagine that? Finding out that you got fired on Friday before Labor Day. As of right now, there's around 20 people on that list who are going to get one of the most unpleasant Labor Days of their entire life. But with that said, I kept asking chat GPT questions about how do I make more money. I got a generic answer about starting my own business, upgrading my education, and what was the other one? Side hustles and gig work. And I thought to myself, oh, yeah, the number one response was ask your current employer for a raise or promotion. And I thought, yeah, none of those things are going to work. And for the most part, in our world, if you need to make more money, you're pretty much trapped. And that's something that the majority of the proletariat is well aware of. In fact, today I went to go get my air checked in all four of my tires because I like to do it about every 3 months before the sensor comes up and it tells me that one of my tires is low, or I have to go outside and look at it and realize, oh God, I need a new tire again. But while I was sitting in line, I was looking around. I turned on the camera that looks behind my car, and behind me there was, I'm going to say, mid 20s Hispanic woman with around five plus children in the back seat, and no air conditioning, of course. It's 105 degrees in Arizona. She's got all them kids in the back, no air conditioning. And of course, her Promobile isn't the best. I was going to record some of it on my phone, through my phone, to record the camera, the rear view camera, because she was out there working on her Promobile in real time. She was topping off her fluids. She was checking the engine. She was giving her kids water in the back. I mean, this woman had a lot going on, and it was hilarious because about every 5 minutes we moved up one spot, and she'd put all the kids back inside the car, and then she'd move the car, and then she'd go back to working on the car. And I thought to myself, that's it for a lot of single moms out there with who obviously aren't making much money if she's driving that Promobile. Still better than the six Promobiles that were trashed just just west of there. I'd say about a mile and a half from Discount Tire. There was that huge wreck that I saw, and I got onto that car accident. Actually, I have dash camera dash video of the accident. I mean, I arrived just as it happened because there was someone's front bumper that I had to drive around in order to get through that intersection. So, anyway, I came back after I got my tires checked, and the police had cordoned off the entire area, and it was six cars that were involved. I sent Mello pictures of it because I didn't realize my phone has a 5 times zoom until my coworker told me yesterday. Anyhow, the point of that was it reminds you of how quickly things can go from being an ordinary day to being part of a six-car pileup. And it wasn't on the highway. I've never seen that many cars involved in one car accident on the surface streets. But without further ado, I'm off on too many tangents. Let's get into the main talking points. So, like I've said, I want to use less AI. I don't want to do any script reading on the channel anymore. I find that to be humiliating and beneath me. But as I've said in previous videos, I am going to continue to use AI for talking points, AI for descriptions, and AI for hashtags and titles. So this is the title that I got today: Overworked and Over It, the Hidden Cost of Corporate Life. The truth is, companies have turned workplace happiness into a product they can sell you. We've all been at that job where part of the employee handbook is having to wear a smile. I'm sorry if you guys are hearing the Promobile that's out behind my apartment complex making some horrible noises, because obviously that person can't afford to get that car fixed, and they're driving around with it like that. Again, my heart goes out to all poor people in their Promobiles out there. God bless their soul that they get from point A to point B in a safe manner. Anyhow, getting back on topic here. A product that they can sell you. I can't imagine a workplace that wants its workers to show up looking how they actually feel. Poorly dressed, poor hygiene, poor mental health, and overall a very low quality worker. And so they enforce rules like a mandatory smile at work. And I find that to be more than offensive. I find it cruel. When I worked at Walmart, you were supposed to tell another employee, it was your duty as an employee to tell an employee if they weren't smiling. And if they didn't smile, it was your duty again to tell their supervisor that they weren't smiling. Like, it was, you were considered out of uniform if you weren't smiling, regardless of how you felt. Even if you just lost your whole family in a horrible, fiery ball of a mushroom cloud that took your house, you're supposed to come to work and put work first. In fact, I remember seeing a job listing one time, a long, long time ago. It's one of the first jobs that I had looked at, and in the job description, the job creator thought it would be a good idea to say person must have stable home life and be a happy person if employment is going to be offered. Don't bring your baggage to work, which, again, I mean, it's not a terrible thing to say, but it goes to show that they don't care about how you feel. They don't care about your depression. They don't care about your financial problems. They don't care if you are a 35-year-old virgin. All they want is for you to show up and be the most phony human being you can possibly be for 8 hours and then get the hell out of their sight because they don't want to see you anymore. It's something that I've noticed about executives, I've read about executives over the years, is they have no sympathy for the poor people that they employ. So workplace happiness has to be there in order for a place not to need the nets that they had to install at Foxconn because people kept jumping rather than continuing to work. So they had to make it so that if you jumped, you just fell in the net and everyone laughed at you because you looked stupid. Talking point number two. They push things like team building exercises, fun office decor, and even mental health days. I just got back from my second trip to the gym, and all the employees were wearing NFL jerseys, and there was inflatable footballs all over the place. And I thought, you can turn a humiliating job 10 times worse by making the employees pretend that they're into something. Like at Halloween, dressing them up, or funny hat day at Kroger's. And the employees have to take it just like pathetic grown children. They have to take it. They have to participate. They have to go. They called it mandatory fun at one of my previous jobs at the university because I didn't want to go hang out with my coworkers at lunch. The last thing I wanted to do is see my supervisor intoxicated or talk to someone at work that I didn't really like. That's the problem with the workplace is most of us find work to be unpleasant in every conceivable way. So when we're forced to pretend that we're enjoying ourselves or that we're going on this trip, let's say the salespeople earn enough money to go on a trip to, let's say, the Caribbean because sales were so great that year. that everyone goes and pretends that everything is happy and that their lives are great, when the reality is their home life isn't wonderful. I haven't been able to move out of this crummy studio apartment since I got out of college. Why? Because I'll never own a home. You think when I leave work, I go home to be happy? No, I sit in the dark and twiddle my thumbs. I have a 5 day weekend or 5 day vacation that I'm on day one of because I extended my vacation. And I'm just going to sit here and twiddle my thumbs until work starts again Tuesday morning. And I'm going to show up there. There's going to be all these phony people in the break room talking about how great it was to finally get a day off, an extra day off. And I'm just going to roll my eyes at them and just think to myself, this is why our country's like this, because you have all of these people who think it's so great that you got an extra day off, that you didn't have to toil. In fact, I was talking to my employee the other day, and he's like, "Man, it's gonna be so great to sleep in and not have to go to work." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness gracious, the sheep will disgust me." All right, moving on to my talking point number three. Happiness at work isn't about free snacks or quirky slogans on the wall. The free snacks, people. Every time I walk up to the reception and there's pizza that's old, donuts that are old, or we had like bring in your own like mac and cheese day a few weeks ago. Everything the school president is a really, really nice guy. Comparatively to the last few people we've had, this guy really likes helping people. Like, this guy is in this business because he truly does like helping people. It doesn't hurt that he makes $200,000 a year, and everyone else is eating ramen in the break room. But when you're not worried about money, you're not worried about job security, and you have an upbeat attitude, it's because you're not relying on the free snacks or the cold pizza to get you through. The quirky slogans only do so much. The educators that are left, right? Because it's tough. People in education are leaving at a very high rate because they can't make ends meet teaching. So you've got these people there that are at their wits' end with trying to figure out how they're going to make a living. When a 60-year-old teacher comes up to me and asks me how she can make money, extra money on OF, society has failed. There are large portions of our society that are just dystopian. The landscape out there for ordinary workers is a hell on earth. That's why my motivation to spend this day looking for work in that hellscape, like truly lifting up a garbage can, seeing all of the cockroaches run away, and that's where I'm looking for work. That's what's out there. And for people who, like right now, I'm going to mention Mello because she sent me a message earlier today telling me that she made her first $1,000 for 1 week's worth of work, which I thought was incredible. I pushed Mello, and Mello watched the channel enough so that she finally said the words that pay. I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore from this retail store where I work. So she finally, after all of those videos, she must have listened to me for hundreds of videos to the point that she got to where she needed to upgrade her life, and it worked. Good for her. So, but when it comes to the rest of us in the workplace, it is a place where we can show up, and the quirky slogans go so far. Like when I worked at the call center, they had all of these things on the wall about how you're supposed to be hungry at work and motivated and come to work every day and brighten someone else's day. Just the kind of stuff that makes you want to puke in your own mouth. And they expect for us to believe it. They expect for us to swallow that corporate culture with the free snacks. And I often wonder, it's like, don't you see past the free donuts? Don't you see that your life is miserable at work and even worse when you go home and you realize that you're never going to amount to anything in the workforce? And that's the horrible conclusion I came to today, is that there's no escaping it. Whether you're here, you're there, there's nothing better. You're just going to a different plantation. I tried to explain this to a person yesterday, and they're so deeply indoctrinated into the system that they just looked at me and said, "You're a real negative person, Millennial Sting." And I'm like, you know what? You can believe that all day, that I'm the problem, that I am the person that's pointing out the fact that you're broke. In fact, I saw that this morning in a article on YouTube Finance where Dave Ramsey tells couple they're broke, live like a broke person. Really? Do you really want to stick it in, break it off, and then rub some salt in that wound, Dave Ramsey? Is that really why people watch you, so you can make fun of poor people? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's poor people entertainment. Is watching people be publicly humiliated by a man that's never been poor. A man that had $4 million in his account by the time he was age 26. But I digress. Let's get back into this. I got just one more talking point. We're at toxic positivity already. The happiness trap. If you're not happy, it's somehow your fault. You're made to feel like you're not trying hard enough or you're not a good fit for company culture. That's exactly what I just said. That negative attitude, if you show up to work with the attitude that this job is never going to make me rich or support me in a comfortable way, they don't want you there. They only want people there that are going to show up, be exploited, have a round with fleece every once in a while, and then go home and look for Susie behind the Taco Bell. That's who they want. They want a bunch of Johnny Six Packs with an IQ of just below 100, not smart enough to open the gate to get out of the wage cage, but smart enough to know that they're going to be hungry tomorrow. And they're going to be hungry for two things: food and Susie Rottencrotch. Hopefully, Susie Rottencrotch has been taking care of herself so that you don't have to have the indignity of that smell. But if you so happen to find a bar of soap, give it to old Susie. She's not very familiar with this product. But again, making you feel that somehow it's your fault that you have clinical depression, that you have anxiety, and that you have panic attacks from a lack of a decent wage, good benefits, enough time off, and reasonable amounts of work. Not when you're showing up, destroying your mind and body, and then going home and thinking, you know what, it's going to be another night of noodles in a cup. In fact, the other day I walked over to the break room, the faculty break room, and I was looking for something to eat because I went out to buy something for lunch, and because of the micro food that's out there, I came back, I ate my hamburger, and I was still hungry, so I had to go look in the vending machine, and there were cup of noodles in the vending machine. And I thought to myself, this really is a dystopian world. I mean, when you have to put cup in a noodle in the vending machine next to the Snickers, what you're saying is, we know you're hungry, we know you're broke, and the cup of noodles is going to fill up your stomach for about 30 minutes, and then you're going to be hungry again. It has no nutritional value. You might as well be chewing on a gym mat at that point. But that's life. Somehow it's your fault that you're not happy, that you don't have the right job, and that people don't like you. Hey, I've been that person my whole life. I've been an angry loner. No one likes me, and I hate the world I'm around because I'm not a good fit for planet Earth. I don't like living on a slave planet. And if you do like living on a slave planet because you make money from exploiting the proletariat, then shame on you. But that's where I'm going to leave it today. I hope you guys enjoyed a more traditional couple of videos on the channel. Again, I'm trying to keep it cleaner than I've ever kept it clean because that algorithm has got me in its sights, and I wouldn't doubt if it came after me again. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope that you guys have a safe and fun Memorial Day weekend, and I will be back here with you guys in the morning.